Alright, subsection 6, solving equations and inequalities, part 2, quadratic equations. Remember, the term quadratic refers to the degree of the equation being solved. All these equations will be degree 2, so then as a consequence of that, we're going to be expecting 2 answers. Okay, the answer for all these will be 2 different answers, 2 identical answers, so only one answer, or 2 non-real answers, so no answers. Okay, the main strategy is to make or move everything over to one side of the equation, so the other side would always equal 0. Okay, so if we look at example 1, it already equals 0, so everything's been moved over for us. So this is why you learned factoring all that time ago. Okay, so for this one, all we're going to do is we're going to factor this equation. Okay, so factors of 18 that add to 9, so that of course is 6 and 3. Okay, factors signs are the same, they're both positive, so plus plus, and we still equal 0 for equations. Okay, remember how this works now. To equal 0, anything times 0 equals 0. So we want to try and make one of these brackets equal 0. Well, to do that, we can see that, well, if m is -6, -6 plus 6 is 0, and 0 times anything is 0. So one of the answers will be -6, and the other will be -3. Okay, so there's our answers, and yay! All right, for number 2, 2 is a little bit different in that we don't have one side equals 0 yet, so we just move stuff over. So remember, when you move stuff over, you always want the squared term to be positive. So because it's already positive, we're just going to move everything over this way. Okay, that was a terrible arrow. Okay, so 2a squared minus 7a plus 5 equals 0. Okay, now this one is a big X factoring or decomposition, so we just need to factor this one slightly differently. So remember, I choose big X, but you do this any way that you learned or any way that you want. Decomposition, diamond method, just whatever. Okay. So here we need factors that add to 7. So, okay, well, there they are. Okay, 1 times 5 is 5. 2 times 1 is 2. They make 7. What kind of 7? Okay, we need a -7. Okay, well, what kind of the 5 and 2 do we need to get -7? Well, -2 and -5. Okay, the signs back up. -5, -1. So then we get 2a minus 1 and a minus 5 still equals 0. So of course, to do these ones, okay, we change the sign, so it's +1 and then divide by what's in front. So 1/2 or just +5. So those are our 2 answers for this one. All right, number 3. Now, I know I've done kind of 3, 4, and then 5 down here on your page, but what I've done is I've just split them so I have more room to work with. Okay, so anyways, number 3, if you look at this guy, okay, we need to expand this first so that we can bring the 72 over. So to do that, okay, we have to move this part first, we have to do this part first. So the squared comes over. So remember, this is 72 equals 8. Now, there's numerous ways to do this. Remember, k minus 7 squared is just k minus 7 times k minus 7. Okay, there's a shortcut here. Remember, the first one is k squared. The O and the I of FOIL, they're always the same here. So we could do this. 2 times k times -7. So that's going to be minus 14k. Remember, I went 2 times k, so that's 2k times -7 is minus 14. Basically, that's a shortcut for the O and the I, because in FOIL, the O is minus 7k and the I is minus 7k. So there's 2 minus 7k's. So that's why there's minus 14k plus 49. Okay, so after we do that, then of course the 8 distributes through. Okay, so 72 equals 8k squared, and then 14 times 8 is 112, so minus 112k, and then 49 times 8 is 392, so plus 392. Okay, so then minus 72, minus 72. Okay, so 0 equals 8k squared minus 112k. 392 minus 72 is 320, so plus 320. All right, so now if we have a quick look here, 112 is divisible by 8, and 320 will also be divisible by 8 because 32 divided by 8. So what we do is we just avoid big X altogether, and we just factor out the 8. We get x squared, okay, minus 14, k squared, minus 14k, and then 320 divided by 8 is just positive 40. That makes the numbers smaller and easier to work with. Okay. So the answer here, when we factor this, the 8 doesn't disappear. It just doesn't figure into the answer. So we're looking for factors of 40 that add to 14. Well, of course, that's 4 and 10. So we have k, 4, and 10. All right, factors of 40 that add to 14. Okay. Now we also need to add to negative 14, so that means they're both going to be negative here. Okay, so of course k equals 4 or positive 10. So that's how we do those ones. All right, so again, let's just recap. We had to expand, okay, then bring the 72 over and then factor again. Not a problem. Okay, number 4. This one's kind of a big expanding one. This has got kind of a couple of things in the middle here. So these don't get harder, they just get longer. Okay, so that's going to be a FOIL. Okay, so I'm going to start over here. So this is why I gave myself more room, because my pen doesn't write as sharply as your pencil. Okay, so anyways, 11c. Okay, so then we have plus 2c. Then we're going to have minus c squared. Okay, then plus 4, and then plus, minus 2c. Okay, minus 2c equals 33. Now, see how before there was a plus sign here, so I didn't have to worry about the signs. Now there's a negative, so I'm going to have to subtract all of these. So in my own head, I'm just going to do this part in brackets, and then I'll distribute the negative here in a second. Okay, so that goes, so 16 16c squared. Okay, 2 times 4 is 8, times minus 3 is minus 24c plus 9. Okay, so okay, so that's how we do those. Now we combine terms and all that. So, oh look, the 2c and the minus 2c cancel. So this is going to be, if we write this in with the squared first, so negative c squared plus 11c plus 4 equals, okay, 33. And then this is going to be minus 16c squared plus 24c minus 9. Right, that negative goes to all 3 chunks. All right, so now we rearrange some more. Okay, noticing that the negative c squared over here, if I move that over, it's going to be a positive. So this is we're gonna move all this stuff over. I guess we should combine the 33 and the 9 first. We really don't have to. Okay, but 33 minus 9 is 24. Okay, so really this is minus 16c squared plus 24c plus 24. right? 33 minus 9 is 24. Okay, so when we move all these over, they're going to combine on the other side. So this is going to be plus 16c squared, so that's going to be 15c squared. This is going to be minus 24c, so minus 24c. 11 minus 24 is negative 13c, and then minus 24 minus 24, so that's going to give us minus 20 equals 0. All right, same thing here. First, we check to make sure there's not a common factor between 15, 13, and 20. And of course, there isn't because 13 is prime. So, all right, we're back to here. So 5 and 3, 1 and 15. Okay, 20 and 1, 4 and 5, 2 and 10. And we're looking for factors that subtract to 13. All right, so we just quickly use inspection here. So we're subtracting to 13. Okay, so there it is. It's 5 times 5 and 3 times 4. Okay, 3 times 4 is 12, 5 times 5 is 25, and of course those do subtract to 13. What kind of 13 are we looking for? A negative 13. So that's got to be a negative 25 and a positive 12. Those signs just back up. Okay, so we've got a 5c and a 3c. Okay, and the 5c multiplies to the minus 5, and the 3c multiplies to the plus 4. Okay, so there's that part. And then, of course, c equals negative 4 over 5, or positive 5 over 3. Okay, so that's that one. Okay, and then last but not least, okay, I did throw one of these ones on. If you have a quick look at this, there are no factors of 1 that subtract to 4. It's not going to work. This one is, every now and then, if it's not factorable, you have to use the quadratic equation. Remember, that's this big thing here, x equals negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. Remember that this guy here, the a is the coefficient here, so that's a. That guy there is b, and the constant term is c. So it's been a while, but that's okay. We still have to know this. Okay, so our negative b is negative negative 4. So that's going to be positive 4. So I guess it's not x equals, it's a equals, but same thing. So a equals. So positive 4 plus or minus. Okay, so then negative 4 squared is 16 minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is negative 1. Okay, all divided by 2 times a, which is 1, so it's just over 2. Okay, well then of course the radical simplifies. So negative 4 times 1 times negative 1 is positive 4. So this is 4 plus or minus root 20 over 2. Okay, well the root 20 reduces. That is 4 times 5. That kicks out a 2. So this is going to be 4 plus or minus 2 root 5 over 2. Okay, and then the 2 distributes here. So then a equals 2 plus or minus root 5. So the answers then is 2 plus root 5 or 2 minus root 5. And those are the perfect solutions for this. We don't have to convert into decimals. These are just the answers. Okay, great.